First off, why wasn't this shown in 2014? It's a 2014 movie, yet for most people this came out in theaters either today or yesterday. Whatever. The continued bastardization of the Academy Awards and every other award show as a marketing apparatus instead of an award show is nothing I can really change. So let's just get down to brass tacks. I'm not going to revise my previous movie top 10 list, and by the way, if you haven't seen it yet, please do now. Go ahead, I'll wait. But regardless, I am pleased to announce that Selma is a pretty damn awesome movie, enough for me to at least give it an honorary number 11 spot. It's a somewhat straightforward piece that both is and isn't a biopic of the late Martin Luther King Jr. Its focus is on the civil rights battle in Selma, Alabama, where King and his followers arrive in 1964 to help the local civil rights charter battle the state's, and by extension the South's, Jim Crow laws, which if you didn't know, were essentially a set of questions meant to prove eligibility for voter registration. The questions were always made impossibly hard for Negroes, but childishly simple for non-colored folk. That's basically it. There are a couple subplots about King's relationship with his wife, Coretta, and his complicated partnership with President Johnson, but the majority of the movie is set in this moment in this important period of history. What's really so welcome about Selma in terms of its biopic content is the commitment to honesty. Civil rights figures like Dr. King, Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and Lucy Stone often get a reputation of success for passive nonviolent resistance, when that was nowhere near the case. Oh, they were all for the most part resistive and nonviolent, but never passive anything. These people were ambitious, intelligent, and motivated, able to spin the power of suggestion, media, and people's perceptions in order to accomplish their goals. I guess you could call them social justice warriors? But anyway, that is one of the big successes of Selma, painting a real picture of Reverend King as a man with all the aforementioned qualities, and whose intuition proved essential in both organizing the civil rights campaign, but also protecting its members from America's institutional racial violence and abuse. In that regard, David Oyelowo is magnificent as King, finding a great balance between societal leader and conflicted family man. But the film also gets great work from its supporting cast, especially Tom Wilkinson as President Johnson, here torn between throwing full support behind King's voter rights issue or pursuing his own noble goal of fighting national poverty, and Tim Roth as the delightfully evil racist Governor George Wallace, who's convinced King is an agitator seemingly planning a coup of the state itself. I'm a little surprised actually that for a PG movie, in Canada at least, Selma is actually a pretty dark and violent film. But I guess with tricky editing and limited actual bloodshed, you can get away with anything. But keep this in mind if you thought something like this would be appropriate for your 7 or 8 year old. I was also surprised at how much I was able to relate the moments in the film to real life and recent history, such as Governor Wallace's insistence that King and his group are dangerous agitators here to destroy Alabama life, being creepily similar to a certain online movement convinced that minority groups are here to destroy video games, but also items like the prevalence of whites, jury nullifying certainly guilty racial murderers, or a populist government leader that somewhat reneges on campaign promises due to the concern of opposition reaction. I don't know if Selma is any masterpiece, but given the late release, it's way better than anything in January typically is. I definitely recommend you check it out if you can.
Looks like an army out there.
This revolution goes on and on. This revolution goes on and on.
Mine eyes have seen the glory, 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 hallelujah.
What happens when a man stands up, says enough is enough?